for more on Russia's year in Syria. Let's speak to Gustav Gressel. He's a visiting fellow at the European Council on Foreign Relations and joins us from Germany. Gustav, good to speak to you. So, all those thousands dead, thousands of sorties flown, hundreds of thousands besieged. Anything positive to come out of Russia's involvement in Syria?
No. It is actually helpful to remind us that the Russian goals in Syria were much more sort of comprehensive, were actually all not reached. Russia had announced this intervention that sort of to restore the 2011 status quo ante, and they haven't done so. They have not regained the full control of their country, and they have actually not fought. What the Russians have done over this year is to try to move the Americans in supporting a solution that would fit their aims, and that is to see Syria purely bipolar, that there is only Daesh on one side and there is only the Assad regime on the other side. And these bombings of civilian infrastructure cited before into that, because you want to destroy all kinds of services of administrative infrastructure, of sort of public services provided by rebel authorities to the civilian population, to at the end say, well, these rebels can't put up any alternative government to Assad, so you will have to accept that there is only Assad. And that's fairly consistent over the past year.
You say the word consistency, Gustav, but Russia seems to have been far from consistent, talking peace while arranging for airstrikes to rain down on citizens in Aleppo. Just how do you think the Russians are able to have this kind of double think, to be saying one thing at peace talks in Geneva and wherever else, but yet continuing airstrikes on civilian targets in Aleppo?
Yes, well, we have seen such kind of sort of double standards or double communication also in the case of Ukraine, to sort of do one thing and cite the others. For the time being, they're trying to make the support for the rebels, the US support for the rebels, the Western support and legitimacy for the rebels, to move them into de facto alliance with other extremist groups. But so far, these attempts were not successful, as the West doesn't buy in on the Russian narrative and does not support any kind of solution that Russia would like to come true. And actually, in this case, the Russian engagement in Syria is slightly backfired, because each day that we see this kind of very unbalanced violence, it becomes the more difficult for Western leaders actually to explain their publics why Russia should be engaged in the process and why Russia should be sort of taken as a major power that brings peace. It makes it difficult to explain that. We probably just see the continuation of this kind of policy, because it hasn't yielded here, but we also don't see Moscow changing course or changing tactics.
Okay, Gustav Gressel from the European Council on Foreign Relations, we thank you for your time.